The other day I made a video talking about Ice Spice, and I feel like a really interesting conversation came out of it. The video was basically talking about how she's basically flopping and what I think led up to the flop, because I feel like when people like to talk about how Ice Spice is not doing great anymore, they love to bring up the whole colorism issues, but I don't really think that played a big deal into why she's not that popular anymore, you know? And the reason as to why I think that is simply because, as I said in the video, people in the rap scene don't really care about colorism. Like, they don't care about the bad effects that it has on people. The light skin being mean to the dark skin, they don't care about that. They don't care about that. If anything, they actually endorse that in the rap scene, you know? I feel like there were a lot of different things that kind of led up to Ice Spice not being that successful anymore. And I feel like a big part of it was just that her branding, while I feel like she did have a lot of good strong points to her branding, I feel like what ended up happening was her branding ended up kind of being her downfall in a way. Because when you think about Ice Spice, what really was her branding, right? I remember that her branding was her being the girl with the orange hair. She was thick. She was light skinned, and she wasn't really that great of a rapper, but she always managed to, become a viral moment. It felt like from about Munch to, I'll say like, did it to the one with Central C, whatever that's called, right? I feel like she just always managed to somehow have a viral moment, and it felt like her band was very dependent on her having a viral moment, because people couldn't sit back and be like, wow, this is like some, like artistic masterpiece. Everybody doesn't be critiquing the world and talking about the social and political economic state of the world. Like everybody is not, Jaden Smith or whatever, right? Everybody does not have to be a philosopher. Some people are just fun to turn on at parties, and you know what? That's that. Now let's take it back to when we first found Ice Spice, right? What really attracted people to Ice Spice? Was it very poetic? No. Was it talking about the economic and political state of the world? No, not really. What really attracted people to Ice Spice was that she was a light-skinned, thick girl. But let's remember that people didn't think she could really rap that well. The songs rapping were mid, that's what people were saying, remember that? But then she would go on stage and she couldn't even perform the songs. I remember when she went on Rolling Loud and she was like running on the stage, she cannot really perform her song, and we're like, this is who y'all want to be the next it girl. Yes! But I think it's also incredibly important for us to talk about the kind of phenomenon that Ice Spice became towards the end of 2022, which allowed her to be one of the biggest artists of 2023, right? Remember that like people were going into her tweets, they were trying to find out like, is this girl really problematic? And she was talking about how she liked dark skins or something, and they were like, wait, this girl is not colorist. She's actually a good light skin, a good mixed girl, I remember that this lie about her being Nigerian came out, and suddenly everybody was like, oh my god, Nigerian queen. There's like so many little things that people kind of like latched onto, which I also think really propelled her career. And then I remember that like in the beginning of 2023, there's this whole Ice Spice thing that happened on TikTok where you change your picture to Ice Spice and only get all these followers. It'd be really small, but like people ended up having this obsession with being a Ice Spice fan without necessarily being a big fan of her music, right? And because of situations like that, that's what really made her like a really big star in 2023. And then we had like, the hits. I remember the song with Pink Panthers that came out, and that peaked at like number 3 on Billboard. It was literally everywhere. I remember that. And then she linked up with Taylor Swift, and then linked up with Nicki Minaj. And it was like, how is this random girl getting into all these big rooms? And then I remember she was at the Met Gala. Randomly at the Met Gala, she got like a very last minute invite. You could just tell, And then it felt like every single place you went, you saw this girl. Award show, she was there. Radio, TV, TikTok, literally everywhere you went, Ice Spice was there. She actually had a really good 2023, y'all. Like, it was banging, y'all. I remember. You had to be there. You just had to be there, y'all. She even had, her little rap beef with Lotto, which didn't really go anywhere. I felt like it tried to do something, but it really didn't. And I think that butted in 2023. And then they had like that little kind of beef that happened in 2024. Girl, that was nothing. I was very disappointed, y'all. And it really felt like Ice Spice was on the top of the world, if you think about it. Like, it looked like she was here to stay. Everybody was like, oh, she's here to stay. You had hit after hit after hit. How could you come down from this, right? Of course, 2024 started off, very strong. We had, You Think You the Far song or whatever. Then the Fisher remix, which I feel like the Fisher remix was like when we really started seeing that Ice Spice was like, flopping. I feel like the Fisher remix, I thought that was going to be like a hit, because I listened to a little bit of Cash Cobain, because I like to listen to like New York radio stations. And I feel like he was kind of like a budding star, kind of like. He like had like a lot of motion in like the New York music scene. So I was like, it's only time before he, you know, breaks out. And, you know, Ice Spice, like she was like turning out all these hits. And I felt like she was gonna have like a Nicki Minaj moment, you know, where like Nicki Minaj hops on a song, suddenly it becomes a hit. Like, you know, Princess Diana, or that one song with who's that rapper? Bia, the Whole Lot of Money girl, like how, you know, it was like Button, and then Nicki got on it and then became like a top 20 hit, you know, like things like that. I thought she had that motion. I guess that was a little bit delusional because she clearly did not, y'all, because that song did not go that far, you know? And then we have like the rollout for her album after that, right? So we have the Fat Butt, Give Me a Light. The only hit that came out of the album other than that fart song, if I'm correct, was the Did It First song with Central C. Central C is kind of like a big name, so I kind of see why it like did become like a moderate hit, but there's also like a lot of drama with it, you know, like the whole theory that Ice Spice was like his like side girl because Central C had a girlfriend, a very like white, potentially allegedly racist girlfriend or something like that. That was a whole thing that clearly felt manufactured. It very much felt manufactured. I could smell like the ingredients from the factory, you know? They tried to make that a thing to get some publicity. I feel like for Ice Spice, it was like look at her last chance at like, you know, getting a hit, you know? And I feel like they really tried to milk it. And did it work? I don't really think it did, y'all. After that, we saw, of course, the album, which I actually did kind of enjoy the album. It had quite a few songs that I liked. Baby Bell, the song with Travis Scott, which, first of all, Travis Scott, yeah, is it Travis Scott? Yeah, crazy. I mean, she pulled Taylor Swift and Nicki Minaj, so I guess she can get Travis Scott. And then it flopped. But, you know, hey, I was here for it. I guess people didn't want to see Ice Spice twerking again. You know, they didn't feel her twerking in like a Statue of Liberty outfit or whatever, even though I thought this song was kind of fun. I thought it was kind of cute. I thought beginning to turn to, y'all, I'm sorry. I'm not a perfect person, y'all. I'm sorry. But the album did have quite a few songs that I liked. And then she went on her, you know, tour. And then the whole Cleotrapa drama happened. I feel like people really want to think that, you know, the Cleotrapa of it all really damaged Ice Spice's career, right? I don't feel like it really did, because first of all, we already had some drama earlier, a few months before, with Baby Storm, who, if y'all don't know, Baby Storm was like Ice Spice's like best friend in like high school, but they were like really close and whatever. And then, you know, Ice Spice takes off or whatever, and apparently the girl changed. I remember that Baby Storm basically did all this for, it was like basically a publicity stunt for her new song that nobody really listened to. But in the text messages about Baby Storm, I remember that Ice Spice was talking about Doechii, and she made a comment about like how Doechii feel like she can't get that far because she's like dark skinned. I was like, why did nobody clock that tea back when the situation happened? I feel like people like to bring it up like acting like it was a big deal. It really wasn't. Like, I feel like my timeline was low-key kind of felt about it, but I feel like a lot of people didn't really care. I feel like the little drama with Ice Spice being the side chick was more impactful than this. In a TikTok comment that I saw, somebody was like, what actually killed Ice Spice was that she ruined her relationship with the white girls because they're like, oh, now you're a cheater. Oh, maybe that had, you know, something to do with it. Because again, I don't think they really cared about colorism. I'm sorry. But then we had this whole Cleotrapa drama where Cleotrapa is like, you basically treated me wrong, and everybody's understanding Cleotrapa because, you know, Cleotrapa is Cleotrapa. I do like Cleotrapa. I do like her music. My biggest thing is if y'all are really like these close friends that I feel like Ice Spice wanted to portray Cleotrapa to be, then I'm like, why do y'all never have a song together if y'all both make music? She added her to the tour. That went horribly, you know. Chicken salad. And if you want to look at Ice Spice's song history, the only hits that we had were You Think You the Fart song, right? Which I think that was like her biggest solo song. Like, I know chart-wise, it was like her highest in like the US or whatever. And then we had the Did It First song, right? Which had Central C, which I feel like Ice Spice and Central C were always going to do like at least decently because people were really wanting a collab from them. But other than that, other than like a few little small micro viral moments, Ice Spice didn't really have any kind of big moments with this album. She went on tour. I guess people loved it. I guess she had a good time. I guess she made her money. Hey, there were some people who were at least like, you know, tuning in, I guess. Other than that, like, there was not that much motion for the album, y'all. And then we go all the way to December 24th, I think she released the Deluxe, which is crazy in my opinion because there was barely any marketing for it. And I think that she thought that her name was still this big thing that people really cared about. Maybe we were in 2024. If you is not doing something every 2 seconds, they're going to forget about you. I remember some people like posted the cover on like Twitter and they were talking about it because it was like a lot nicer than her original cover. But it's like at the end of the day, you had barely any marketing and you released a song in a period where, no, you released the whole project. You released a deluxe album in a period that people don't really care to listen to a lot of new music unless it is, you know, Christmas related. Like the charts fill up with Christmas music and I feel like every year kind of gets like, you know, more aggressive. And I've seen that to say that, girl, you barely had a chance. You barely had a chance. And I know the Billboard numbers are like starting to get really low, so you can get like really high results with like low numbers, you know? But I'm like, girl, you didn't even try to make like a good chance happen, you know? You didn't try to like, you know, organize things in the right way for you to get a hit or even try. I don't think there was any music video for these songs. I was like, girl, what was the point in doing this? And then the features made no sense to me. You know, we had the Baby Tricks of it all. I liked her at that time. Now her kind of problematic and a little bit weird. So now I'm like, Baby Tricks, you is not eating it. I know Adobe a little strange in my opinion. I don't hear what he's been saying about some people. You had NLE Choppa, which I'm not mad at NLE Chopper, but the baby, girl, the baby, leaking up with the baby is like how those R&B girls be leaking up with Chris Brown. Like, do you not know your audience? We don't be messing with the baby, y'all. So I'm like, why would you? And so I'm like, okay, girl, that was just a wild move in my opinion. And then we're in the middle of 2025 and we have had what from Ice Spice? A remix with Cat's Eye and that's it. Was the remix good? I didn't even think it was that great. The Cat's Eye fans loved it, but at the end of the day, I know most of y'all are K-pop fans and no shade coming from a K-pop fan, unless y'all have really consumed and studied rap, I ain't taking a lot of your opinions. Ice Spice is about as good as a rapper as a lot of those K rappers, and that all shade intended. And so I'm like, can Ice Spice come back from this? Can't she have another viral moment? You know, that TikTok extension, it got extended to what, like September or something? Girl, you have took time to make another TikTok hit, girl. But I'm like, it's really giving she doesn't want to try, because if you did, you would have tried to release a single. You would have tried to, you know, keep your name in the conversations, but you didn't. And now we have Doechii, who's having a fabulous run right now, you know? Even though I know you'll hit that anxiety song, I'm sorry, my girl had to get a little radio banger hit. Don't play with her, okay? But I'm like, you're having all these other girls surpass you, all these other girls make noise. Dang, Cardi talking about releasing her album now, in September, I think. So now we have Cardi B, we got Doechii, Megan doing stuff, and Nicki's always in the conversation because she's Nicki Minaj. And Ice Spice, what are you doing? And people were also acting like Nicki Minaj ruined the whole situation. I don't think it ruined anything at all. I really wanted to make it seem like Nicki Minaj like ended Ice Spice or whatever. And I'm like, Ice Spice was still making hits after she stopped being with Nicki Minaj. And I do defend Ice Spice on her not really messing with Nicki Minaj anymore, because I feel like people always miss that in the text messages, Ice Spice mentioned that Nicki Minaj wanted to get money from all of Ice Spice's songs, including the songs that Nicki Minaj had no involvement in. Isn't that a little bit crazy? I think even if like Ice Spice released like a third party, if like release like wrote a song and send it to somebody else, Nicki would still get money for that. What? No, I'll be like, no, girl, too. I think if Ice Spice is able to get like, you know, like a really good collab and do like some really good marketing, I think that she could go really far. I was just watching a video about Pink Panthers earlier talking about how important it is to market. And I feel like with Ice Spice, she actually did have some really good marketing, you know? The hair, I feel like a really big part of her marketing. I feel like a lot of people would look at her differently. They might not even really care about Ice Spice, you know? So you know what? I'll say this. Her and that hair color, she ate. Like, she did her real big one with that one, okay? Like, because now everybody associates you with the color orange, which I feel like, especially in the marketing world, if you have an association to something, like, it's really, really good, you know? Like, Nicki Minaj has the association with pink. Ice Spice has orange. Like, it's good. It's good. I like this. It's good for marketing. It's good for people to recognize you. I'm getting tired of talking. Thank you for coming to the channel. I'm trying to make more videos. Tell me what you want to see. Tell me what you want to hear. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you didn't like about this video. Thank you for coming to my channel. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. Hopefully y'all can come back. Also follow the TikTok, you know, while there's still time left to enjoy my TikToks as well. Subscribe to the channel to get more videos of me talking. But yeah, like, comment, all that good stuff. Have a good one. Bye.